Hey guys, and welcome back to my kitchen. But in case this is the first time you're stopping by, my name is Gina and I'm a wife and mother from the Midwest, and I enjoy cooking fresh meals for my family, and sometimes I make videos of my recipes and I post them here on YouTube. Today we are making Crock Pot Borracho Beans, or drunken beans. Borracho means like a drunk person. And they are called that because we are going to be adding a can of Mexican style beer to the beans while they cook to add some extra flavors. So without further ado, let's jump into our ingredients. We are going to be using some bacon. You can use whatever kind you want, doesn't matter. Hard smoked, apple wood, thick, thin, whatever. Just use whatever you have. We're going to be using a pound of dried pinto beans, which is equivalent to about 2 cups in case you have yours loose like I have mine. I'm not going to show it, but make sure you go through and pick out any rocks or any broken or nasty beans and then rinse them thoroughly, because sometimes pinto beans are dirty. We're going to be using 1 can or bottle of beer. I'm using a can of Modelo, and how many ounces is this? 12 fluid ounces. We are going to be using 2 onions because these are rather small. So if you have a huge one, just use 1. It doesn't matter if they're yellow onions or white onions, but I do not recommend red onions for this. I'm going to be using 2 jalapenos because they're small, because they're from my garden. So they're rather small. So again, use your best judgment. If you guys like spicy stuff, you can add more. If you don't like spicy stuff, you can omit them. We're going to be using some fresh garlic. And then to season it up, cumin powder, oregano, chili powder, ground coriander, a couple of bay leaves, and some salt. And then we're also obviously going to need some water, and we're going to be using some oil to fry some of the ingredients up in the beginning. So let me go ahead and clear this off. The first thing I'm going to do is chop up this bacon so we can get it into the pan, because we do need to pre-cook some of these ingredients prior to putting them into the slow cooker so they have the proper flavor. So I'll be back in a jiffy. Okay, so first things first, we are going to be using half of a package of bacon. I didn't mention that earlier. A half of a pack of bacon is usually 8 ounces because they're usually 16 ounces. So 8 ounces or half of a package of bacon. And then just go ahead and slice it up before you put it into the pan. So I just run my knife vertically along the bacon and then always put it into a cold pan. If you do this way, you won't have to add any additional oil to your pan, because the bacon will render its fat slowly while it's heating up, and you don't have to add any additional grease, which is awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and put this over a medium heat and cook this until it's nice and crispy, and then I'm going to remove it and drain it on a towel. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and chop up, ooh, that got right, my onions, and then I didn't mention it earlier, it is 4 cloves of garlic that we're going to be using, and I will be back to show you how these look before I put them in. Bacon is still going, and I just thought I would show you like how I sort my beans. So I literally stick my colander here. I've measured the 2 cups of beans, and I just put them out on the counter, and you just start sorting them, the good ones in here. And then like this is a nasty one and or a rock. I'm not even entirely sure what that is, but it's not going in my tummy, tell you that. So you just pick through them. And then after you're done sorting them, it's obviously much faster if you're not holding a camera. Then you will go ahead and rinse them. Sometimes I actually add a few drops of Dawn dish soap and really clean them up because they can be dirty. Now, whether that is safe or not for food safety, I don't know. I'm not a food safety person. I'm just a person who likes stuff to be clean. So please wash your food with Dawn dish soap at your own risk, and don't take everything I say as like it's absolutely the word. Alright guys, I'm going to continue frying these and sorting these, and I'll be back in a minute. Okie dokie, so our bacon is nice and crisp, and I have that draining on a paper towel. I have the bacon grease in the pan, which I reserved the grease because we're going to use that to fry up our veggies. It's a lot of grease in this one, so I might remove a little bit or just be careful to drain off the veggies before I put them into the crock pot, because you don't want it to be greasy, but cooking your veggies in bacon grease adds loads of flavor. And why waste more oil when you already got some natural stuff right here? This is clearly not a vegan recipe, so let's get it. Next thing is, here are our veggies. That's such a weird thing to say. Here are our. It just sounds weird. It sounds like here are our. Anyways, so we have our onions, which are just in a small dice. And then I have my jalapenos, which I actually seeded both of them pretty well because I'm having my parents over for dinner tonight. And being that I come from a Caucasian American family, my husband's family likes spicy and my husband likes spicy, but we tend to like things a little bit milder. So I just went ahead and did a fine mince on that and then minced up the 4 cloves of garlic. So first we're going to go ahead and add these onions into our pan, and I will be back when we start adding additional ingredients because the rest of this recipe is going to go pretty quickly. Alright guys, so here are our onions. They're going to go for another minute or two because I want them to get a little bit more of a deep brown color because that is going to add loads of flavor to the beans. So don't skimp out and just try to hurry and throw these in the crock pot. I know back in the day I used to get so ticked off when it was a crock pot recipe and you have to fry things prior because it's like, isn't the point of a crock pot to set it and forget it? And now I'm making other dishes, but there are certain things that you just don't throw directly into the crock pot. And for me, those are onions and garlic because they will stew and they develop like a strange medicinal flavor to them. And I just think it's disgusting. So go ahead and let these go for another couple of minutes before we add in our spices. And I thought I would just let you know the measurements really quick. So this is 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, and 1 teaspoon of oregano, and 2 small bay leaves. And then in our crock pot, because I need to start getting going because my parents are coming at 5 and I should have started these earlier, I have our 2 cups of beans and I've added 6 cups of water. And now I'm going to go ahead and add in our beer. Right now I have this set on low. I set it for 5 hours because I got a little bit messed up with my timing, but you can cook these for 8 hours on low or 4 hours on high, but I'm gonna have to kind of do a double duty. I'm gonna do them on low until 4 o'clock and then put them on high for an hour until my parents get here to finish them off because I should have started the beans earlier. Let's check with these. Almost here. Sit tight for just a minute before we dump in all of our aromatics and our spices, and we'll be gravy. Okie dokie, guys, I've added our garlic and our onion in here, and we're just going to stir fry this around for a minute or so. The onions are just about perfect. I'm cooking them at a medium heat. It's better to cook onions at like medium low or to low if you want them to caramelize even better than this. But again, I am strapped for time. We're also going to dump in our spices. We're going to stir fry that for just a moment. Did someone just come in my house? Hi. Oh my god, you scared the shit out of me. Alright guys, sorry about that. So I'm just, I went ahead and I added in all of our spices and I stir fried it for about a minute. Because when you add in the spices to your hot oil, it wakes them up and it just makes the flavor much better. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. If you're not into grease, you could drain this off a little bit because like I said, this is a lot of grease from the bacon, but it's just going to add more flavor. So I'm just going to go ahead and add all of this directly to the crock pot. And then we are going to let this simmer based off of your chosen cooking time from 4 to 8 hours. And if you've noticed, I haven't added any salt yet, and that's because adding salt while beans are cooking actually toughens them. And we're not trying to have tough beans. That's why we're slow cooking them. 1 second, honey. Okay, 1 second, honey. And then lastly, we're just going to add our bacon back to the mix. I'm so sorry. This video just got all crazy. We had a surprise visitor. And now my children are trying to go outside. So I'm just going to stir this up, put this on stop for now, and we'll be back when these are all cooked up to add the remaining ingredients, which are just garnishes that I didn't include in our ingredients. So see you in a couple hours. All right, guys, it is just about through cooking time. And again, please follow what I said before. It's either 4 hours on low or 8 hours on high. You do want these beans to stay whole because you are not going to be mashing them. So for me, I had an off cooking time. I actually ended up throwing them on high because I wanted them to be cooked through. So it is a half an hour before I would say that they're totally done. Maybe even I'm a little bit overkilled, but you want to put the salt in the last half an hour to an hour of the cooking time. Totally up to you. And I am going to start with half of a tablespoon and then taste it, because I just got this salt, and you know, certain salts are, depending on the grain of them, like saltier than other ones. Oh man, these smell so good. Like, this is borderline almost like a soup. A little bit of rice. This could be a whole meal. Oh man, it smells good. All right, let's try a little bit of the juguito con un frijol. I'd say that's good. I put in a half of a tablespoon of salt. It's still slightly spicy a little bit, which is surprising, but my chiles off of my garden are like insanely spicy. They're literally like, they're small. They're only like this long, like 2 inches long. So I pick them early because I wanted to keep generating more. And I made my salsa verde, which I have the recipe for the Instant Pot version on my channel under another video. And I put the same ratio of like 1 chile to 2 jitomates or tomatillos. And it is like so spicy, it had me coughing. So I don't know why they're so spicy. Maybe just because they're fresh. If you know anything about gardening and you know why homegrown ones are so much spicier, drop a comment and let me know. So I hope my mom eats these. Anyways, so these are basically done. I'm going to let them go ahead for another half an hour or so. And then it'll just turn on warm while I prepare the flautas. I've got the chicken here. I'm going to go ahead and shred that up, and I'll be back with the taste test for you guys.
Oh, fancy ice cube.
All right, guys. This is what the beans look like when they're finished. You can see the big chunks of bacon in there. The beans are nice and whole. They're juicy, and let's try them. Could use a little bit more salt. So I would say up it from the half of a tablespoon to almost a tablespoon, depending on your preference. And today we are having Taquito Festival. This is my dad and this is my mom. And you guys know Daniel and the girls. And we're just gonna have a lovely Saturday night dinner. So thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video on how I like to make Crock Pot Borracho Beans. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Oh, and Olivia's gonna have ice cream. And if you love it, subscribe. Oh, nice tablecloth mess, Fief. All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.